Hey Yoda! Tenakoto! Hello and welcome back to Minecraft. We're not in my normal single player world for the first time in this series. We're actually in a creative test world. Probably spending the better half of 2 hours here working out exactly what I needed to do in order to get the proposed wheat farm design working, and I think I've finally come up with the solution that's going to work for us. I'll go ahead and demonstrate right now. Stand on the pressure plate, water comes down, washes all the way towards you, water goes away, and then the stairs come up, which is pretty awesome. If I get off the pressure plate, nothing happens. So basically the stairs allow you to come up here without trampling any of your wheat. You can come up here and, you know, plant all your crops, come back down again, hit your pressure plates once again, and the stairs go down and nothing else happens. Stand on the pressure plates again, water comes down, water goes away, stairs come up. Can come up here and do this, rinse and repeat. Really very cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the redstone. Oh my goodness. Oh dear. I normally try to keep the redstone really simple on my videos for those that don't like it, but this one isn't quite as simple now, is it? So this is actually pretty complicated, but I'm going to try and make it as simple for you guys as possible. So we have our pressure plates that you stand on right here. These orange wall blocks indicate just right above where the pressure plates are. And the redstone goes off in 2 directions, but ignore this direction for now. It comes off over this way over here, and this tiny little device right here is known as a T flip-flop. Basically what a T flip-flop does is it converts a button pulse into a lever, but we're using a pressure plate here. Anyway, it basically makes it so that every time it only changes its state every second pulse that you get in here. That's how this works. This is a very small design. I'll go ahead and put the YouTube video in the description that I used to build this. It's the same setup that I have on the asylum. And then that comes over here now. Because there's only one item rattling around in there, you need to put a repeater here to extend the signal. And the signal goes off in 2 directions. The first direction is right here into this redstone torch. Well, actually, I guess the first direction is right into this little machine here. This is called a pulse generator. It takes the T flip-flop pulse, which is just basically like a solid on signal, and it'll turn that into a single pulse for us. So the single pulse is going to come out here to the main part of the system. Over here we have the dispensers that are in the main collection tray, and the other dispenser is over on this side, and I've got the redstone coming along here and coming into here from the pulse right there. In addition to that, the redstone pulse comes around here, up here, and on top of these dispensers back here. So that all comes from the pulse generator that's over here that we showed just before. And it also goes into this little setup over here. Don't mind this little bit for now. Basically what this does is that it extends the pulse of, basically makes the water stay on, and then it comes back around and it basically turns the water system off. That's basically all that this does. It basically makes it so that there are 2 pulses, and the second pulse happens at a time that you can predefine. So we can basically make it so that this length of redstone is as long as it needs to be to, what's the word? Make it so that the wheat will go from the back down to the bottom and enter your inventory, which is something that we'll need to work out on the single player world. Now this torch over here, which diverges off way over here, now so basically what you've done here is we've created a clock basically, so the signal will basically just go back in here, so the water will just constantly go on and off and on and off and on and off. Now to prevent that from happening, I have put in this little clock killing device right here. Once the signal goes through this block, this over here is actually going to cause the piston to retract, So that basically means that the clock will be discontinued, it'll stop, and it's not just going to keep going on and off. So that's basically what this piston is for. And the signal for that just comes underneath here like so. Pretty basic stuff. Well, I hope it is. At least I can understand it. And I consider my understanding of redstone to not be that amazing. Now, the real tricky part. I thought this was going to be easy, actually opening and closing these pistons. So we have the signal for the pistons right here. In order to send the signal into the pistons, I actually have to use repeaters right here. And the signal comes down here into a T flip-flop. The T flip-flop plugs right into those pistons first of all. Now from this clock, there's another signal that goes along here to this line, which goes into the T flip-flop right there. So again, it's all basically just on one big timer that you can manipulate based on what we need to do for our practical application. And that'll go in here and cause the piston to extend and distend and stuff like that. So how is it that I'm able to, when I stand on the pressure plate the second time, only cause the pistons to retract? That is where the second line comes in. There is a third T flip-flop, and right next to that another pulse generator, and that plugs into here. So basically every fourth I guess activation of the pressure plate, that will cause this that will cause this basically to update twice, if that makes any sense. Basically bypassing the entire thing over there, and it'll cause those to retract at that point. I'll actually go ahead and stand on these once so I can show you what's going on. I don't actually have an easy way to demonstrate while we can actually look at the redstone. You can see here the signal goes in there and keeps the pistons online because it's a T flip-flop. Now because this system is off when I stand on the pressure, or on when I stand on the pressure plates, this is actually going to turn the system off, which basically means that none of this is affected. And that the second line, as you can see, the lights up, triggers this, triggers this, triggers this, and turns the pistons off. It's all extremely complicated just to plant a bit of wheat, but guys, you need something to keep you busy in Minecraft. I was actually quite pleased that I finally managed to come up with the solution for this. Now I did realize that another way that you could have done this is actually do something like put redstone torches here, or some sort of very simple mechanism for that. Whenever you stand on the pressure plates, the pistons go down. Whenever you're not standing on them, they go up. That would have been a very easy way to do it, but where's the fun in that, right? So that's basically this entire build. I'm going to need to assemble an extra 3 pistons, I believe. 2 pistons? Yeah, an extra 2 pistons, but we only need to use non-sticky ones because you can use these blocks that fall due to gravity. They work just fine. But I'm also going to need 3 hoppers and 9 of these droppers. These are droppers that you use here. So I'm going to need to assemble those off camera. I'll be right back in the single player world. So if you made it this far into the video, congratulations! You're exactly the kind of person that I want to be talking to right now. The fans, the people that come here regularly to see the content, not the people who clicked away within the first couple of minutes. I want to be talking to the genuine fans of the channel, of the series, whatnot, right at this very second. I want to increase the way that I do stuff here on YouTube. I want to be better at what I do. I want to produce more videos, ideally if I can. And in particular, I want to try and grow the audience, and I want you guys to try and help me do that. But, you know, with the way things that have been going with the channel as they are right now, it actually hasn't been very fast growth, I would say. You know, we've had 1,000 subscribers, and we're almost up at 1,200 subscribers right now. But things could always be moving a little bit faster, and so I was looking into ways to do this, and it turns out through YouTube's, dashboard system, I was actually able to sort of find a little bit of a guide that was actually quite helpful as far as helping us do such things as these. So let's go ahead and talk about it. They basically talked about 5 things that you could do to help your channel grow quite well. And the first thing is talking about the creation story of your channel. The creation story of a channel is basically proposing the question, why does the channel exist? What is its purpose? Why are you here making YouTube videos? I would just like to start things off primarily by saying that I have never shared this sort of story before, and I've never actually put it down into words, and I personally think that any sort of story like what I'm about to say is altogether unnecessary. I personally think this. I think that, you know, having this sort of thing in a video it's not very productive in terms of actual gameplay and, you know, making a video, which is what I do want to do, but I do want to also make a base of fans, if you will, basically, that are gonna keep coming back for content and support the channel and stuff like that. So this is the best way to do that according to them. I personally think that what I'm about to tell you is a bit mushy, you know, it's very soul-wrenching, hitting the soul and hitting it hard, but I guess that's kind of the point. So, in the real world, I don't think that I'm a very good real worlder, I suppose is the term. You know, you can call it being introverted or whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you know, there's sort of how people have a sort of a desire or whatever to, I guess, have sort of interactions with other people. I've always found myself to kind of be a little bit socially awkward as far as that goes. I don't find myself needing to have friends, I guess you could say, in the real world. I do have friends in the real world, don't get me wrong. But, you know, I don't feel like that I blend in very well with anything. Have you ever been in a situation where you don't feel like you should be there, you know? That's kind of what I've felt like, and, you know, as I'm trying to blend in with people before, but it's just, I'm not very good at it. I don't know, it's like I just don't have the innate, there's something missing about me. Oh dear. That's kind of bad. As I say, guys, this is very strange and mushy and all that. And I told you that I don't think it's necessary in a video, but you're still here, so I guess we're gonna keep going. Where were we? So yes, forever alone introversion, whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm calling it. I don't really have a term for it. So there's that laying out there on the line. And then I discovered YouTube a few years ago, and I realized that there's a very easy way to, I guess, talk to a lot of people while still sort of feeling like, you know, you're sitting alone in a room or whatever. I'm kind of screwing this up. Oh my goodness. Back away. Oh my goodness. I hate this place at night. Actually, I don't have it on me. I don't have my saddles on me, so I can't take the horses. YouTube, I found, is a very, it's a very easy way to sort of, you know, for someone who might be down in the dumps or something, because I've seen stories of people who are, you know, down in the dumps on YouTube and stuff, and then come to YouTube and then sort of find their personalities and they watch them, and, you know, it gets some laughs out of them, even though it's a very difficult time in their lives. I haven't personally felt anything like that, but I can definitely sympathize with those people a lot more. It's actually really hard to talk about this in terms of just being able to put it down in words as well, and just in general just talking about it as well. There we go. Not going to see any bad guys down here. The general gist. why does my channel exist? My channel exists because I did want to start making YouTube videos. I thought, well, if these people can do it, then hopefully I can try to do it too. And it also gives me a way... I'm so sorry for all the blankness, but it is really hard to put this into words in a way that can be understood by the other people. I guess that's real. I guess that's the good deal about a creation story, I suppose. I want my videos to have more substance, but the issue is there's no real substance with me to begin with. That's the real... there we go. That's the real thing about it. There's nothing really special about me. You know, when people ask me, what's your favorite animal, for example, it's something that I generally don't think about very often because it's just something that I don't ever really need to think about, so I don't think about it. I don't have an answer to the question, what is my favorite animal? You know, I have to think about it for, 10-15 minutes to come up with a decision, but by then, it's kind of pointless. So overall, I just don't think I'm not very good at blending in with normal human society, I guess you could say. But then here on YouTube, especially here or just on the internet in general, which is very much about being spontaneous as possible, it's definitely very easy for me to blend in with that kind of situation, just because there's a lot less I guess history that you need to provide. You basically forge your own identity, as I've done here on YouTube. But why does the channel exist though? That's the deep-seated personality, but why did I start making YouTube videos? It was again basically because I felt like I could. I felt like I could try it out. But I mean, there's some kind of link that I'm looking for, but I'm not finding it. Oh dear. I mean, this thing's still broken, isn't it? Yeah. I need to fix that. Let's get out of here. I don't like the sound of that place. Skeletons kind of... I don't like skeletons now. Sound is just kind of too annoying. Spider down there. Oh dear. Creation story. It's hard. It's hard to talk about. If I can think of anything different, I'll of course put that in the video, in the editing. It's just so hard to say right now. I hope that you guys kind of... The whole point of saying the creation story is to kind of build some kind of relationship and understanding with the viewers. It's basically what it's all about. So the idea being that if you can kind of relate to me and understand what's going on with me, you'll want to come back and watch more videos. Yeah! Thank you for doing so, by the way. Thank you if you are still watching, because you are the real stars. You are the people that I want to talk to. Okay. So there was 5 different parts. I don't think I've hammered home exactly why I wanted to make YouTube videos, but I feel like I've shared a pretty good portion of something with me there. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I don't feel I've been very clear on it. I'm just kind of running around my mind, aren't I? I can't really do anything while I'm talking about this. Alright, so the next thing that they wanted you to talk about was the creed. The creed of your viewers. Basically, why the viewers should keep coming back to your channel. What is it that's special about our channel that no other channel has? Well, primarily, I am from New Zealand. I have a strange accent. And I also play certain games, don't I? Oh man, that kind of sucks. No, but yeah, I think the New Zealand accent is definitely something that you don't see every day in a lot of videos. The majority of people, the guys here on YouTube making videos, are of the United States of America. And that's where the majority of the viewers are from. That's where the majority of the people just simply are in the world that do this stuff. Where is that Skelly? Does it come in daytime? So I came down here because it was nighttime. It's not daytime yet. I'm actually going to have to go ahead and look at the actual page that they have. Okay, so checking out the page for Creed, it's basically saying you need to give the fans a higher meaning to come and watch your videos. Oh dear. You know, that's the sort of thing like saying, well, come to my channel if you want to see some interesting content or something. I mean, I want to try making better content for YouTube, like the sort of content that people like the Gaming Lemon, Markiplier, PewDiePie sort of make, how they have the highly edited, very short videos, but you know, they have a lot of the internet references and, you know, cool musical cues and stuff like that in there. That's definitely very fun to do, and I feel like that might be possible. It's just that you begin running into limitations, not in terms of your vision, but in terms of what your editing software can do. As I use Camtasia, which is extremely basic. The ideal situation to use Camtasia in would be some sort of corporate business presentation. Whoa! Whoa! Oh my word. So I use it for gameplay. I don't actually record using the Camtasia Studio inbuilt recorder thing. I've used it in the past. It sucks. Use Fraps if you can. That's what I'm using right now. People, you know, there's the eternal debate of Fraps, DX, Tory. I've never had a problem with Fraps. So that's what I try to use if I can. Otherwise I just use my capture card. Creed. It's such a strange word. Such a strange word to talk about. It's not quite as hard as Creation Story, but I did have a little bit more about to say about Creation Story. I actually need to look up what the third thing is. Right, so the third thing that they want you to talk about is leadership and the creation of leadership in your videos, and that definitely works very well in Freelancer. I'm able to, particularly today, I was able to generate a discussion in the comment section, sort of saying, well, what's your favorite faction? And a lot of people were, you know, saying, well, you know, what their favorite faction was, which was definitely really, really awesome. It kind of worked. I mean, it generated some discussion, but it didn't actually do quite what I wanted to do. I did want people to say, well, I like this faction because it does this, and then, you know, the cool thing would be to have some sort of person say, well, I dislike the faction that you like because they do this, and, you know, you can have a healthy debate on the internet without starting a flame war. And that's that's another thing that I really like about you guys, especially you guys in the comment section. You guys never get mad at each other. You're all very friendly. That's the great thing about having the small channel, is that everyone that comes to the channel is friendly. Thank you very much for being friendly on my channel and my comments. It's very well appreciated. Leadership. Yeah, alright, I think we do cover that. And the fourth and fifth things basically are kind of the same thing. The fourth one is sort of end rituals, things that are kind of, I guess, unique to the channel. And then language is the fifth thing, which is, again, something that's also kind of unique to the channel. So, you know, like, say for example with PewDiePie, you know, he calls the subscribers bros. I've started calling you guys, the subscribers, the flock. Joining the flock, you know, because birds, they fly in a flock of birds. So you guys are the little bit of a flock thing. The flock. Join the flock. Fly away with us. Migrate with us. Bird-themed stuff. Also the greetings that I say at the start of the video. Kia ora, tēnā koutou. Hello and welcome. Probably in like the 2 years that I've been doing YouTube, probably only like less than 10 people have actually asked me, well, what the heck does kia ora tēnā koutou mean, man? What's that thing you say at the start, bro? Kia ora basically means hi. That's the loose translation. And basically, hi or hello, just an informal informal greeting is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, it just means hi, hello, hello. I think it literally translates as hello. Yeah. Tēnā is a more of a formal greeting that you say to at least 3 people. That's what that greeting is, and both of those are in the language of Te Reo, which is the language spoken by the Māori here in New Zealand. Te Reo, so T-E space R-E-O is how you say that. How you spell it? Well, you know how to say it. Te Reo. R-E-O-U. A-E-I-O-U. Your vowels. So that's the language and the rituals sort of thing, isn't it? There we go, just kind of living a little bit of a tree with my nest. Ooh. Do we need a little bit more of a ritual thing? Let me know what you think about all of this, obviously, in the comment section. If you are still watching, I mean. As I said, I'll say it again. This is all very mushy and we didn't get a whole lot done. But this needs to be done. Needs to be done in order to be healthy for the future of the channel, even if we didn't get a whole lot done here today. So the language thing, and by the way, they say that the thing that I say at the end of the video, kia kaha. Again, I don't think anyone's ever asked what the hell that means. Why don't you take a guess? If you said goodbye, you're wrong. It does not mean goodbye. I used to say kakite way back when I started, and that means goodbye. But I don't say that anymore. I say kia kaha now. Kia kaha means there actually isn't a direct English translation. The closest you can get is be strong or stay strong. Something along those lines. No direct translation. So that's kind of what it means. Be strong, stay strong, something like that. So I guess kaha is sort of like strong. Something like that. Oh, no, kaha. Did I say kaha? Oh, one of the wheat's fully grown. Yeah, so that's pretty much that checklist, and I think that's a good time to wrap this up, this episode. It was a talkie. You asked, you didn't ask for it. I warned you, put it that way. I warned you this was coming, I warned you it was mushy. But you stuck around anyway, thank you very much for doing so. It's definitely very, very cool that people are so attached to the channel already, but I hope that you guys know a little bit more about me. And again, if you have any questions, if you want me to clarify something, I will do my darndest best. I mean, I want to hammer this home and get this right. I don't think I did very well as far as the creation story goes, but again, now you know a little bit more about my personality, and that is all goods. Guys, that is it for this episode of Minecraft with Birdtross. Thank you very much for watching. Kia kaha. Now, I'm starting to try a new different thing now. I'm sort of saying, be sure to join the flock. Be sure to fly with the flock. Join with the flock. Be sure to subscribe. Fly with the flock. No. Be sure to subscribe. Join the flock. How does that sound? Join the flock. Thank you very much for watching. Kia kaha. Be strong, stay strong. And I'll see you in the next video where we will be working on the wheat farm. See you later.